So my name is Michaela Kohoutková, and although I'm supposed to be a technician, I failed. Technically, I failed so much, so I hope the presentation will work, but we'll see. Okay, better?
Yeah.
So today I'm here to introduce you to a project called Mela School, which was built in Nepal, and also to talk about my experience about a particular development project in rural parts of Nepal. The Mela project is a project of an earthquake-resistant school that uses sustainable materials and building methods. It was designed by MIM Architecture, and the construction of all the Mela buildings was organized and funded by a Czech NGO, Namaste Nepal. There are 4 Mela buildings in Nepal. Until now, Mela 1 was built in Anaikot. The next one was, it was built in 2013. Then the next one was in Mahadevtar, and it was built in 2015. It was finished like 3 weeks before a major earthquake that hit the entire country, and it actually survived. So the design proved itself. Then Namaste Nepal took a break for a couple of years because they were doing other stuff for Nepal, and then in 2019 they collected enough money to build another building in Bindabasini. The name of the building is Mela 3A, and you can see it on the left picture. And on the right one, you can see the most important person of this project. Her name is Jana Šera, and she was the construction manager for this building. And not only she managed to build the building, she also spent several months in Bindabasini gaining trust for herself as a female construction manager, because it's not very common in Nepal, and also for the project, because even though the idea of building a new building came from the local community, the local people weren't really sure about using rammed earth and bamboo for the building, because in Nepal, rammed earth is viewed as a very cheap, low quality, low prestige material, so Nepali people prefer concrete, and bamboo is usually used for temporary buildings and ritual buildings. So that's quite a common challenge we face with project like this in developing countries, to persuade local people that using traditional materials might actually come with advantages, and it's not just because we want the building to be cheap. So Jana is fortunately a good negotiator and an amazing person, so not only she managed to persuade local people that it really makes sense to build with rammed earth, but she also laid strong foundations for friendly relationships with local people, which actually I also gained from, as you can see on the next slide. This is my beloved Mela 3B, which I was managing the construction of the building. I arrived in Bindabasini in October 2019, and during the next 5 months, me and the team of volunteers and a local construction company, we managed to demolish an old building that was supposed to be temporary, and it was built after the earthquake. So we demolished that one, and over the 5 months we built this new, better building. Over those 5 months we experienced so many kinds of different weather and conditions, from very humid days and clouds of mosquitoes through heavy rains, all the way to very cold days and even colder nights with no heating at all. And also, we just fit between 2 monsoon seasons. That's one of the things you need to really consider when you plan constructing something in the development countries. How long the building season is, and what are the conditions with weather and stuff like that. So, in October we started building. We used recycled stone from the previous building for foundations and stone plinth. Then we built rammed earth walls reinforced with steel. Previously on Mela 2, where I also participated, we experimented with reinforcing the walls with bamboo, but it didn't really work. It caused cracking, so on this project we went with steel. On top of the rammed earth walls, we made concrete tie beam. Actually, you can see two tie beams on this picture, one on the top of the wall and another one just underneath the windows. And there's actually a third one just underneath the surface of the concrete slab. Originally, there were only supposed to be two tie beams, but the Nepali building code says that you need to have three, which we knew beforehand because of Jana. And we negotiated with the construction company and told them that according to our statistical calculations, it's enough to have only two tie beams, and we really didn't have the budget for three of them. And we agreed with them on doing only two tie beams, and then I left the building site for 2 days, and when I came back, the third one was already made. So that's another thing you really need to plan for. No matter how much you plan, no matter how much you communicate, something will always change, something will always go not according to your plan. So always have the reserve in your budget for the third tie beam. For the roof construction, we used, as you could see on the previous picture, but that's okay. We used steel trusses from the previous temporary building. We only slightly adjusted them and repainted them. It's actually, in this case, it was actually the most sustainable solution because we already had them on site. So if you already have something on site and you can reuse it, adjust it and reuse it, it's always the most sustainable solution. Then we covered the roof with CGI sheets and transparent sheets, which is very light material, very easy to transport, durable, reusable, so amazing, but it has one disadvantage, and Peter already told you about it. It doesn't insulate at all. So during summer, it would get really, really hot inside the building, and during rainy season, it would get very loud. And also, as you can see on the right side of the picture, on the previous building, we used these sheets also for the gable walls, which means there are no soundproofing between exterior and interior and between the classrooms. So what we did on this project was that we manufactured steel frames. We manufactured steel frames, filled them with flattened bamboo and chicken wire, lifted them on top of the walls and then covered them with mortar. It's still a very light material, which you need for gable walls, because in seismic areas you don't want to risk the gable wall falling on somebody during earthquake. But it has some soundproofing function, and it's very cheap. And even after 4 years now, it's still there, and there are some small cracks, but it works. And what we did for the ceiling was pretty much the same thing. We made frames, filled them with flattened bamboo and with a foam sheet for insulation, then suspended them from the roof. It's not a great solution, but it was the best we could do with a tight budget and a tight schedule that we had at that time. So another thing, learn to improvise, learn to use stuff you already have on site, which was what we did. We already had the bamboo, so it didn't cost us anything. What Namaste Nepal did for this building was they hired a local construction company to do most of the work, and the Czech team of volunteers only worked on demolitions and then finishing jobs, or mostly. Hiring a local company is definitely or usually it's a faster way to do things, but it's more expensive and it comes with specifics. For example, you could learn after 2 or 3 weeks working with them that none of the workers knows how to read construction plans, or that nothing ever happens when it was supposed to happen, or that no matter how tight your schedule is, no one will work any faster, or no overtimes, nothing. They just, their favorite word was boli, which means tomorrow. And so you need to learn to work with what you have, but also it comes with advantages, like their infinite capacity to improvise and their knowledge of local building traditions. I see you're not sure what you're seeing, so this one is for plugging two things into one socket. So you have 2 nails here and a wooden slab, and then you can plug as many drills and stuff as you want. So you could either have local construction company or just volunteers from Czech Republic or local volunteers. For me, the way to go is to have all of this, to have local workers, paid workers, and local volunteers, foreign volunteers, and to try to create a good team of people, because if you mix these, you mix cultures, and that's what development projects are about. And also if you incorporate local people who volunteer on the building, they gain a relationship for the building, and then they want to take care of it more than if you just give it to them. And if you get something for free, you don't take care of it. So that's what I would do. And if you have a good team of people, you really need to take a good care of them, because another thing you need to know is that experiencing even small inconvenience every day all over again, like slightly higher altitude, different diet, unusual weather. If you experience this every day for a long period of time, it gets really tiring and frustrating, and you want your team to be fresh and happy and not tired and sick. So you really need to take care of them. And one last thing is, even though it might sometimes feel that the most important thing is to finish the building when you are on the building site and you have the tight schedule and you have your airplane ticket home and you really want to finish the building because that's why you came there. The most important thing always is to maintain friendly relationships with the community, because if you finish the building and everybody hates it because you worked on it and you are kind of a bitch, then the building is useless. That's it.